Snapdeal has seen many pivots from the time that you actually started as couponing to eventually getting
coupon booklets.
Exactly, and in an offline era
absolutely.
to getting into e-tail. So you've gone through pivots. Change is not something new to you, and adaptability is not something new to you. And then you had that spate of acquisitions, 11 at last count from what I remember, that you went through to the point of saying, look, either this merger with Flipkart happens or we're toast. Now, I want you to go back in time to what was going on in that board meeting when that decision had to be taken. I mean, you didn't get the valuation that you wanted, but you talked about ego. What finally decided it? Was it the fact that the investors just said, hey, this is no good for us, and that kind of sealed the deal? Or did the two of you say, we want to still retain our independence?
Look, I think, this is now many, many years back. And at that point of time, I think this discussion was publicly going on also for many, many months. But, I think eventually it came down to the point that all of us as a board, because look, I think as you can imagine, in such big situations, I don't think either of us can take a decision, because eventually every decision has to be a board decision. And finally, it came down to a point where, because we were also running out of money very quickly.
You had what, about a month's runway left?
Very short from what I remember. And it came to a point where all of us had to take a decision which can get executed in a very short period of time. And that was the most important thing, because if you're not decisive and we kind of let it linger on, then over a period of time, there'll be nothing left to save. I remember after that day, we've probably spent 0 days thinking about what if, because it doesn't matter what if.
Both of you talked about being at the bottom of the abyss and then pulling yourself from there and rising from the ashes, so to speak. What was that like for the two of you? And were you sort of leading in on each other for support, for counsel, for just, a shoulder to say, hey, how do we pull ourselves through this?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, look, that's the advantage of having two of us, right? Because we are human. Like, people keep saying, oh, you guys are the most resilient founders in the ecosystem, etc. But we are human, right? Like, there'll be days when I'll have a low day, but Rohit will be there to support me and pull me up, and vice versa. Thankfully, neither of us there was never a situation where both of us were having a low day. That would be troublesome, right? But thankfully that never happened. Or maybe we just know, we can just sense the other person's having
energy.
And then today it's my turn, right? Like, so I think, or his turn. So I think we have some manufacturing defect in the two of us.
And what manufacturing defect would that be?
We have many, but one I can definitely point to is that we have never felt that failure is an option, right? Like, we've never felt
that failure is fatal.
Yeah, like, success is also not permanent, but failure is also not fatal, right? It's only in conversations like these that we recount what happened. And then we have to rummage through our memories. Oh, what were we thinking then? But on a day-to-day basis, we rarely think about it. But I think the important point, on the point of learning, Shereen, these have been invaluable lessons for us.
For resilience, for building resilience.
And many other lessons, right? Which we now bring into the way we run our businesses and the way we support founders through our investing activities.
Since we are talking about the future, what is the future looking like as far as Snapdeal is concerned now? I mean, what do you believe in a world of quick commerce and, Blinkit and Zepto and this, that, and the other, where, the big boys are feeling like, okay, where is this shifting to? How are you reading the market today, and how do you see yourself staying relevant in it?
No, I think over a period of time, many, many years back when we started, the number of internet users were extremely small in India. And when internet users did start going, they started going on desktops and laptops, etc. Then mobile phones came, smartphones came. Today, I think we are at an age where almost every single person in the country has a smartphone. And thanks to all the social media and all the sort of things around it, people now have aspirations of not looking very different from what anyone can look, because earlier people didn't have access. People didn't know what does this person wear, what does that person wear. Now everyone can see.
You may not have the means to afford some of that stuff, but at least the aspiration
is absolutely there. But the more important thing which has changed, equally importantly, is things have also, thanks to internet, things have also become a lot more affordable than they used to be. Because again, the supply chain networks were not there. Many of the manufacturers used to use 7 layers of distribution to get to the customer. Now a lot or most of those manufacturers have started selling to consumers directly. And as a result, when I look at my own buying behavior or the buying behavior of many people around me, the average things that people buy have become cheaper, I feel, especially in categories like clothing, apparel, home, etc., etc. I think what we are addressing is very fairly and squarely the value market, where people have aspirations, people want to look good, people want to buy good things, but their means allow them to buy things till a certain price point. Fortunately, those things are now available online. And that's what we connect the dots for.
This takes me back to that 2011 interview, and I remember you said that the Indian consumer is not price sensitive, is value sensitive, and you said that he or she believes in ABCD: astrology, Bollywood, cricket, and discounts. So
good memory, Shereen.
And not much has changed, has it?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. You talked about the plethora of business models that have spawned in e-commerce. I think it's obviously true. What has happened over the last 10 years in the evolution of e-commerce is, as Rohit was saying, as the number of users have exploded and incomes have started going up, earlier in e-commerce, it was assumed that only one kind of business model will work, which is the classic e-commerce model, which let's call it an infinite aisle model, where you have everything, like the everything store.
So the Amazon and the Flipkarts of the world,
What has happened is, over a period of time, as income levels have gone up and the number of users have gone up, there's a clear segmentation emerging in the market, where at the top is a band of quick commerce, which is metro users with high incomes, high frequency of buying, and mostly branded goods. Then at the middle is what the classic e-commerce model is, which is the everything stores. And at the bottom is the value commerce, right? Which is lower price, like 500 rupee items of decent quality, but it's not going to get there in 10 minutes. It'll get there in 3 days, right? And while there are some spillover areas on the edges between these 3 bands, but these 3 bands are independent and mutually exclusive also of each other, and sizable.
Very distinct now.
And very distinct, which was not the case like 7, 8, 9 years ago.
So the value market or the value segment is what you intend to chase after.
Yeah, and that's what we've been doing now for a few years, and we've made good progress in that direction. And in some ways, if you think about it, that is the future, because as India still has about 350 million e-commerce buyers. It's not a billion internet. It's not equal to the billion internet users we have. The next 650 million internet users who will become e-commerce buyers are actually all in this segment, because the metro dwellers who are internet users are already e-commerce buyers. And with their income levels, with their aspirations, platform like ours will have a lot of applicability.
Okay.
And I think the big other, in addition to this, because this market has started coming online, the other big thing which has changed, which is at least I know where we've spent a lot of time over the last few years, is the quality of merchandise which is available to consumers in that segment. Because look, this segment was always there. They started coming online now. But, while we call it value segment, for them it's their hard-earned money, and they're still, whatever they buy, they're still reaching up and sort of buying aspirational things. The last thing that they want, because that is the biggest problem, right? Because this is relatively unorganized, not many well-known brands, etc. The single most important thing to consumers in this segment is that, will I get what I want? Or will I get what it looks like? And I remember when we started, we also started with a very theoretical understanding of marketplaces, that, we are just a platform, we are just connecting, sellers to buyers. and we'll show some ratings and people will figure out whether it's good or not, etc. We spoke to a lot of our consumers. Consumers said, we don't care about
who's the seller, exactly.
What's the rating? I bought it from you. If it's good, I will come back. If it's not good, I will not like you at all.
Absolutely.
And I think that if I were to over summarize the one single thing that we've done really well over the last 4 or 5 years, it's solving for that quality. Because infinite merchandise had started becoming available for many, many years. But I think it's about solving the problem of quality that consumers, when they buy, they feel they will get what they thought they will get.